What up, guys? Welcome to episode 93 of Fresh Off the Mat here at the Jiu-Jitsu Joes.
Jackass.
Woo! What up?
Bro, I just can't wait. This whole week is like a coast week for me. I mean,
Is
like
it
I'm still
on
working.
vacation?
Yeah, but like, you know, like when you start checking out.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where I'm starting to get. I haven't packed it all though. So
I don't pack till the night before a vacation.
Serious?
Like
the hard part for me is like I wear all the clothes that I pack. Like, you know, people were like, "Oh, these are my travel clothes." I wear the same clothes.
I don't understand this. To have travel clothes.
My sister and
a
my wife have been
separate
shopping,
wardrobe.
and my mom. They all went shopping, and I was like, my sister's like, "Aren't you gonna go shopping?" Like, for what? I got
No.
my clothes. Like, this is what I'm gonna wear. She goes, "Really?" I'm like, "Yes." Like, why would I buy more clothes specifically to travel if I don't plan on wearing it back home?
That's what I'm saying.
All the clothes I have, I like wearing. They're comfy. I'm happy. So
I don't get that one bit. That
No.
doesn't make sense to me. I pack the night before. I don't know. Women, like, I feel like they just need to take their time to pack shit, I guess. I don't know.
bro, I count the
People
days.
pack like weeks in advance. I'm like, what the fuck are
That's
you
crazy.
doing,
You
dude?
tell me you don't wear any of those clothes?
I
That
just
means you
don't
should
get it.
empty your closet a bit. If you have that much clothes where you can pack way ahead of time, empty your closet.
Yeah.
Because that's also my issue. If I were to pack my clothes, especially for a trip this long, like, dude, I'm not going to have clothes to wear.
You know what stresses me out about trips
Huh.
is washing machines.
So,
Like, I'm not the type of person who could go on a 2-week-long vacation and day one wear clothes and then just let them sit there for 2 weeks until I get to a washing machine again.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, but sometimes you go to travel to like Europe or and shit if you're going for a week and what happens if you stay at a place like a hotel where there's no washing machine and stuff?
Laundry mat.
Yeah, but like a laundromat skeeved me out. I've never used a laundromat. I've never went to a
Even up in New
laundromat.
York?
Mm-mm. We always had a washing machine.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So I've been in though. I mean, you just wait there. And most people are just staying to themselves. Not like anyone bothers you. You just load your stuff up. You stay in front of it and you just chill.
But someone's soiled laundry is in that machine. I get that it's cleaning it, but like, have you ever seen those videos where they're like, oh, you should always put a cup of vinegar or bleach in your washing machine to like clean it out? Somebody's soiled stuff is still reminiscent in there.
Yeah.
That's what creeps me out.
I mean, they should be doing their own maintenance. So I'm sure those places are because they want to keep their money flowing in.
Yeah, but they don't do it after every load, though.
No, you don't need to do it after every load. It's like to clean your wash. I think it's like once a month or like it's once a month or every 2 weeks or something like that. You're supposed to just run it by itself and throw some vinegar in there.
I don't know. Like there are people that like they'll like go do their gym stuff, have sweaty clothes, and they're like, oh, I just throw it in the laundry basket and do my laundry once a week. What?
No, not once a week. I wash my clothes two to 3 times.
Day.
Wild. No.
Every day.
No.
Sometimes 2 loads a day. of
Wild.
washing.
Nope.
Bro, I can't let my clothes sit in sweat. It just freaks me out.
Use detergent.
I do use detergent.
So I use OxyClean, Tide Pods, and I always put vinegar.
Yeah.
And so that's the concoction I have down there.
That's fine. But I need to wash it. Like,
No.
as soon as I get back to it, I'm throwing a load in the washing machine.
Usually I try every 3 days. The hard part is like, so since I was a kid, I've done my own laundry.
Mhm.
I don't know why. I didn't want my mom ever doing my laundry. I was because I didn't want clothes missing. And so I always had this thing where if I do it and I lose it, that's my fault.
Yeah.
But if someone else does my laundry and then something goes missing, I get pissed, bro. Because I'm like, how
Same.
the fuck did you lose clothes
Same.
from moving it from one
Same.
spot to the next?
Can I tell you that I've lost socks
I need water.
and I can't stand losing socks? How the fuck am I losing socks, bro?
Oh, dude, I went my whole.
This is why I don't like people touching my laundry.
Yeah.
I like to do my laundry because I don't understand how a sock goes missing, or when your gym clothes, like I don't know what you even call these things.
Eglets.
When they get stuck in the fucking thing and it twists and bunches up the rope, it drives me fucking nuts, dude.
Eglet. Oh, man.
The little thing at the end of shorts, the little plastic or metal tip at the end of
I think
shorts,
they're eglets.
which is also a fucking dumb design. Can we figure out a way that these don't get caught in washers and dryers and bunched up?
Yeah.
And people are annoying.
They
They're
should
like,
be tucked
like,
in.
oh,
That's why.
you could tuck them in. It doesn't matter. It's tumbling in there.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, you got to get a delicates bag. Oh, I have to get a special bag to throw things in now.
That's a thing.
Yeah. Those are called things at the end of shorts. What are the tips of strings called at the end of shorts?
Aglet.
Aglet? What a stupid thing.
Yeah, no, I don't like. I've had. Now I got rid of the socks because they were old as shit. But I used to work at Fitzroy when I was like 16 to 17, and or 17 to 18. Either way, 17 to 18.
No one's fact checking.
I didn't. Shut up. I didn't lose any of those socks when I was in the Marine Corps. I didn't lose any of my clothes. I don't lose any of my clothes now, but I handle all my stuff. I do not let my stuff get separated. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
And bro, it started, that's what, when I was saying, like when Mac started wearing my clothes, when I would get pissed, because it's like that she would throw it in her laundry and then all of a sudden I have mixed match socks. Bro. And I started missing stuff. And I told her, I was like, stop wearing my stuff if you're not going to put it back. Because I was like, I have all of my things. Like,
I've been biting my tongue for the last 5 minutes, but Danielle, bro, she loses my socks sometimes. And I just have to like, just breathe.
Because it's like, it's just a sock.
I'm like, I don't understand where they're going. Where are they going? And she's like, oh, maybe they got mixed with the boys' clothes. I'm like, I don't put my clothes with their clothes.
Exactly, dude. Like, I don't wash my clothes with anyone else.
I don't know where they go.
It's just like, bro, you load it to the wash.
And
you
put
take
it in the dryer.
I don't know.
I
look inside. I'm like, all right, good. Put it in the dryer. You turn the bitch off. You take everything out of the dryer. I check the edges in case, because I've had it to where like a sock might get stuck on something. I'm like, all right, I check. I get everything out. And when I do my laundry, I put all my stuff right. I don't just throw it in a drawer. I connect the socks. Everything is together. Yes. It's not just thrown. No. It's folded.
I was having mini strokes like the past like times with Danielle, like when I would go into my sock drawer and there'd just be a rando sock. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Where are they going?
Bro,
who's the sock outfit?
I'll put like the odd socks, and it'll be the ones she took, and I'll put them out, and I'm like, all right, we need to find.
You gotta hunt.
Yeah, you gotta find. These are missing the fucking pair, bro. We need to find the other one.
I do the same thing. I'm so glad you said this because dude. For a second I'd have to check myself and be like, am I crazy? Am I the only one who goes through this? Like. Bro. I'm serious. One, when it comes to belongings, like that's my stuff. I paid for it. Why would I want to lose it? And I need to keep it for a long time. So no, that's a big pet peeve of mine. I don't touch my stuff. Don't. Yeah, and the thing is, it has nothing to do with anything other than it being mine. Like I don't care. But that's a pretty good fucking reason. Yeah, that's a good reason. One of them was using my shaker cup one time. And I had to breathe through that too, because I'm just like, I'll just buy you a shaker cup. It has nothing to do with money. Yeah. I'll buy you 10,000 shaker cups. Just my shaker cup. Just don't touch my shaker cup. You were a single. No, you weren't. You had siblings. Yeah, I had siblings. How old? My sister's 2 years younger than me, and my next sister's 10 years younger than me. So with the 1 2 years, you had no. I'm sorry, she's 14 years younger than me. Whoa, that's a huge difference. Yeah. Michelle was born in 2004. Yeah, so she's still a teenager. She's 18. 18 or just leaving. Wow, yeah, Jesus Christ. But yeah, what does that have to do with anything? That's crazy. Well, why'd you ask me about siblings? It's because I've learned like with Mac is huge on sharing everything. Granted, she grew up with a twin, so they shared everything. Yeah. My sister and I are like 6.5, 7 years apart. Yeah. I didn't share as a kid. Like I had my cousins, but they had their stuff. I had my stuff. We may like share a video game. I think it's also different because there's not a lot boys share to girls. You get what I'm saying? Like you didn't if you had a younger brother, you had to share more. Oh, it's because like action figures or cards or something like that. That's what I'm saying. You wouldn't have to share. Like Callie was never interested in the things. It's like so. I think that plays a part. Is like no, we just didn't have to share. Versus Mac, she has her twin. So she has to share, like she's got so used to it. Identical. So like exactly, like they literally, like, bro, they're photos. Jeans, they just grew up in the same fucking clothes. Like they literally were wearing the same stuff, like what all most twin parents do. And so like that was a big thing for us, especially like when we moved in. She would just start taking my stuff. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I'll buy you your stuff. Like, I have no issue buying it. Like, that's yours. And she's like, yeah, but we're married. I'm like, but I don't share. Like that's not my thing. Like, I want to know that my shaker cup is where it is. So when I want it, I could just grab it. And I don't have to go on a scavenger hunt or use brain power for something so minute. It's like I put things where they should. This is where it goes. This is how it should. Like my buddy came over and he used something and then he came back out. He goes, hey, if you didn't mind, like I didn't put it back where I found it. I was like, well, then why the fuck did you touch it? Yeah. I was like, why did you use it then? And it was just like, oh, well, I didn't think. He's just like, do I need to put it back? I was like, yeah. Go find it because I don't want to look for it. You find it and put it back where it was. Like, when I was growing up, my dad would be like, your room is so messy. And I'm like, I know where everything is. Organized chaos. If you tell me, get me XYZ, I know exactly where to get it. And I know exactly. And it wasn't until like I was a teenager that my dad's like, oh, I get it. Your room is like not messy. It's cluttered, but you know where everything is.
and this is what fucks me up because I hate clutter.
Yeah.
But like, if you look at my stuff, especially like, because one, if I get too overloaded with stuff and I see a bunch of things everywhere, I can't do shit.
Yeah.
And I get stuck and I'm like, fuck, dude. But I'll get like the moods of cleaning. When I start cleaning, then I can really organize it, which is also a problem because have you ever organized something too much to where then if you touch it, it fucks everything up?
Bro, Magic the Gathering cards, organizing those. So in the beginning, I wouldn't organize. I would just put them into boxes.
Oh, God.
And then one day I was like,
No, I would have to color code them.
Bro,
That would be my
I
issue.
did that. I went through thousands and thousands to put them in these box rows. Like all black cards go here, all white cards go
dude,
here,
you should have
all
called me. I
red.
would have had a blast.
Bro, it was so infuriating because I'm like, why did I do this? For years, I was just like, why did I from the beginning not do this?
Not
I
just
set
organize
myself
it,
up
yeah.
for failure, dude.
Because then you had to go through it instead of like finding, oh, this is the blue card.
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
Go to the blue pile or something.
I would have to go through a million boxes instead of just being like, this is the blue pile.
Yeah.
I just go right here.
Yeah.
That's just stressful, bro.
I like organization. And then when it comes to clutter, though, it's like I hate clutter, but it's like when I am cluttered, it's organized because like that's where I have it. It's just like if there is clutter, it's because, all right, well, that's because this is the pile for that. This is the pile for this. This is the pile for that. And then I can organize it from there. But
bro, I can't, man. I can't. I have like an aneurysm sometimes when I'm like, I know this is supposed to be here and it's not here.
Dude,
someone touched it.
No, I get frustrated.
It frustrates the fuck out of me because you know what it is? I think it's a time thing because I know if it's supposed to be here, I just go grab it and it's now I have to go on an Easter egg hunt and look for it. Now I'm like, God damn it. Now I'm wasting time when it's supposed to be right here. Like this is its designated location.
Yeah,
holy shit, man.
It's frustrating, dude.
And I don't feel like I'm an OCD person, but this thing will send me over the edge.
That's the thing with OCD too. I think people throw that word out there just for people being
too
neat.
Much.
Yeah, dude, you're neat. And it's like when like I don't know, fucking like being in shape, right? Let's use that as an example. For some reason nowadays, if you're in shape, you're looked at as a fitness freak. So you're not a freak. If you work out an hour a day and you eat right, you're not a fitness freak. You're just a person who's like health conscious.
I don't think I'm a fitness freak.
No, dude, a fitness freak I'll see is like someone who's working out multiple hours. Like, and this is the hard part because I do it, but I don't count myself as a fitness freak because I'm also like I do other things.
But it's
so there's an income. So it's like, and so there's also that like I have an incentive because in reality, like yes, there are trainers that could be out of shape just because like, usually they're older, like the old strongmen or powerlifters that are retired. They're usually out of shape because why are they going to push themselves like in their 20s?
Yeah.
Besides the point, when it comes to OCD, I think people just throw it out there because someone's organized and neat. OCD, it's a mental disorder to where like if I don't flick this light switch 3 times, then something bad is going to happen when I walk out. It's not, I flick it 3 times because that's the way to make sure it's off. Or like it's not, someone who's just neat isn't going to do that.
Yeah.
They're going to just be organized. And yes, they might like it organized, but that's because it does bring a calming nature to them. But OCD, it's supposed to be a pattern. Like it has to meet patterns. Like, are you following a pattern for it?
You do things in 3s.
And then when it comes to that, it's also, are you doing it because there's an effect that would happen if you didn't.
If you didn't.
And so that's the issue is like everyone throws it out. It's like the whole thing with ADHD now. Everyone wants ADHD, which I hate to this day because like I'm actually diagnosed. Most people that meet me, they automatically be like, yes, you have it.
You know what happened? At some point we started to make diseases a part of our identity. And it was a way for people that had no way to make themselves unique, make themselves unique. It's like the fat people who are like, I'm fat and I'm proud. And every post they make is how proud they are to be fat, or how proud they are to be this, because they have to make it an identity. They're not unique. They're not talented in a certain way. And the easiest way to get talented is, I have OCD.
Yeah.
I have ADHD. Do you really have ADHD? Well, not diagnosed.
My favorite is when they hear, it's not diagnosed. It's just self. It's like, bitch, then how do you know?
Because you're not really.
Because here's the thing with all these things. It's like depression. You can share symptoms with someone who's depressed, but it's not chronic. What people don't
Everybody gets depressed.
Exactly.
If your mom dies, guess what? You're going to be depressed for a little while.
Exactly.
Doesn't mean you need to go on pills and SSRIs and all this crazy shit.
And that's what people don't understand.
That's a normal human reaction.
And that's the thing. The reason why diagnosis is so important, people are like, I don't want to go see a doctor. Like the reason why you have to is because they are the one to separate to see, okay, is it chronic? Is there an actual cause? Are you showing actual long-term symptoms? And are you having more than just a few? Because like
But it's
ADHD.
doctor's faults too, because
so
they'll be
that's-
like, "You're depressed. Go on pills."
And so this is where
But my mom died last month. Yeah, but we should. These pills will help.
and that's where there is an issue, and that's
Instead
where I
of
will
working
say
through it.
that there, and that's where my psych was when I talked to them. What I liked about the first guy, well, I mean, they've all been great so far except one. But what I liked about it was, one, I said I didn't want to be on pills. Right off the bat, I was like, I want to do everything I can to avoid pills. Before I went on Adderall, right? And I was on anxiety and depression meds, but I was stupid. If anyone's ever out there and you're on them, don't stop cold turkey. Don't.
Just kill yourself.
No, just shut up. Don't stop cold turkey on these pills. Just fair warning, it will fuck you up. That one caused a straight mental breakdown.
Yeah.
And my doc was just like, who told you to do that? And I was just like, well, I was feeling good. And he goes, that's what the pills are for.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. He goes, yeah, you don't just stop it. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's like bipolar people too. The hardest thing about keeping people who are diagnosed bipolar, the hardest thing is keeping them on their medication
because they start feeling good.
Yes,
Yeah.
they don't realize the pills keep them in a state of like here,
Yes.
as opposed to here. So they're riding this, and the second they start to feel good, they're like, oh, I'm fine. I don't need the pills anymore. Boom, right here. And then they go back on the pills and they even out again.
But this is,
we all do this.
and that's the important
They
part.
do
Yes.
this.
And that's the
which is
important part where
crazy.
people aren't understanding, where that's where the professional does come into play, because they're supposed to see it. But again,
But they're the hardest people to keep on pills is bipolar.
that's
people.
I couldn't imagine.
They're the
I mean,
hardest because the second they feel good,
Yeah.
they're like, I don't need these.
but
things
that
anymore.
was where I fucked up with mine.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean is, like, when you talk to these doctors, one, I think a lot of people go in there and they blame the doctor, saying that that it's the doctor's fault for being on pills. But if you're upfront and being like, no, I'm not taking pills, well, the doctor can't force you to take it.
Yeah.
And you find the provider that's willing to work with you. So all of mine, first, I spent
But
the
some
first
people
two
fall
not.
victim to the doctor though,
Yes.
because sometimes the doctor will be like, I strongly recommend it, and because it's an authoritarian figure
Yes.
who's a doctor, they just like, well,
So
if he's saying that I need
That's
pills,
also kind of what's helpful.
you
for
got to
me.
be the one to be like, I don't want to go on
But
pills.
you've
for
seen me
this.
when people tell me what to do. I get defensive immediately. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So that's kind of helpful
But
in
not
my
a lot
sense.
of people are like
I know. And so that's which helpful.
Most people say, okay, you say I need
and
pills.
that's where it was helpful for me. But that's where I would also, and again,
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure when my grandma passed away, I'm pretty sure, I got to ask him, I don't know if I should say this or not, but the doctor, of course, his mom passed away, he's depressed. And the doctor was like, yeah, you should go on pills. And he's like, what the fuck? Like, he was smart enough to be like, I'm not going on pills. My mom passed. That's why I'm depressed.
Yeah.
I'm not
So
just
like,
gonna
and
go
so
on
there's a
pills."
difference though. Like if he was like still depressed a year to 2 years later, it's different from being sad. And this is also a big misconception. Depression is like, you're not getting out of bed, dude. Like you're not wanting to go to work. You're not
It's a
working.
hindrance on your life.
Yes, it's hindrance. And that's the thing where people don't see. That's why, like, yes, a month after someone died, you're usually a dip and everything happens in your life.
No, the other day, it was no significance. It wasn't a holiday.
Yeah.
It wasn't a birthday. It wasn't a death date. It wasn't anything. Bro, I was just listening to music at the gym while working out. And I forgot what song it was. Some country song popped up in the rotation. And I just started to tear up. And I don't know why my mom popped into my head. And I'm literally at the gym benching.
Was it talking about your mom?
It was just like a sad
mom?
line in a song.
Oh.
Like it was just a song that popped. And all of a sudden I just started thinking about my mom. And then you go down the spiral of thinking about your mom.
Yeah.
And I switched the song right away, but you start thinking about it.
Avoidance.
But this is what happens.
Yeah.
This is a normal thing that happens. You're not going to just.
But that's also the thing. That's not depression. You felt sad, which is.
But the thing is, I think about my mom every day.
Yeah.
But it was just this moment, this song, this lyrics. I don't know what it was. Just hit me a certain way, and I was like, "Oh, what the
This
fuck?"
is just strung the
And all of a
chord.
sudden, I was just like, "What the fuck is happening?" I was like, "Go back to the next
Yeah.
song." Yeah, it happens.
But that's
bro.
the thing is like people.
You're never gonna be cured of these things.
And that's it. So you're gonna feel
20
emotions.
years from now, you're gonna cry because your mom is dead.
But
Like,
that's what I'm saying. Is like people, they want it to be labeled so bad. It's like, no, it's okay to also feel that emotion.
Yeah.
Now, again, if it's chronic, like you said, bipolar, which my new psych, I want to have words with hers because first time meeting her, I've talked to multiple just because the VA constant switches, and starting when I was in the Marine Corps talking to psychs, and now just multiple switches between psychs. So it's not like I'm a crazy person talking to a bunch of people. It's they either retired or found a new job, like location. So new psych I got first thing she did is now saying that she's diagnosed me with bipolar. Well, she made me take a test. So we'll see. I don't think so.
Get the fuck out of here, dude.
She said because I do the high rises and big lows, and I was like, well, I figured that's a normal thing. But the hard part for me is it also coincides with ADHD with mood swings and stuff. So that's what she's seeing. So
you're not bipolar.
That's what I'm hoping for. But so this is where
this was after the first meeting.
Yes,
this is a very dangerous thing for you to say after a first.
And that's where I was concerned, and that's why. But
because now you're going to overanalyze every time you feel up or down, or you might. But if she says this to someone
else,
think about somebody who has ADHD who fixates on things like that. Bro, they're gonna hear something like that and be like, "Oh wait, maybe I do have bipolar." Oh man!
So the first thing I will say, the first.
Bro, this is a dangerous thing to say after the first meeting.
The first 2 days, I was stressing about it, but then afterwards, my buddy actually said a really good thing to me, and he goes, "And this is what I think a lot of people should hear is."
I feel like I know you pretty well. I don't. There's no way, dude.
So
there'd be other signs.
Again, there's characteristics to share.
Yeah, but I dealt with people who have bipolar. I've spent a lot of hours with you.
There's multiple types, which I didn't know that. So
I knew that.
I didn't know that. Yeah. I thought bipolar was just done.
No, there's a lot.
So my sister got diagnosed, and this is also why the psych was interested, because she gets diagnosed. There's a 6% chance that it's able to be passed on. I explained how my mom acts, right, and how she was, and she was like, she could possibly have it, and it could have just been a hereditary thing, which is the chance. But my sister also doesn't have ADHD. So she was only diagnosed with bipolar. So this is where it's a flip of the coin. These kind of things
scare me, especially when someone just first meets you and then drops this info on you, because what it says to me is she's a hammer looking for a nail everywhere and to hit. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's
you're
where
bipolar. You're bipolar.
And so two things with it. Like I said, the first 2 days I was stressing about it, but then my buddy told me something really good. If she would talk to
you for a year or 6 months and then say something like that, like, hey, I've noticed in our sessions and stuff. That's one thing, but like the first meeting,
she has my notes, so that could also be why, because she has the notes from all the other sites.
Yeah, but I don't know, man.
So there's that. I'm not accepting the thing. I filled out the test. I haven't heard word back, but either way.
And plus, bipolar is something that they find in your teens. It's not something they find brand new.
I was never tested until years later. My mom never wanted me to ever see these doctors, because when I was in elementary school, she had me go get tested because the teachers recommended it.
Yeah.
She didn't like the first few questions, and we walked out. And so from there, she never wanted me to go talk to any type of mental. But they say like these aggressive,
especially if it's an aggressive form of bipolar, if you make it past the age of 18, 19, they say that.
But so my buddy is bipolar.
It's not someone that in their 30s like, oh, you all of a sudden one day wake up with an aggressive form of bipolar or some shit like that.
But the issue is for teens, the hard part is, and what happened to my buddy is he's bipolar. Like, he's on medication and all. He's been on it, and when he's not on it, like, he knows it bad, and then we can also tell. And which is also what makes me question it, and she even said that it could be minor, but she was like, we'll see. For him, he got diagnosed later because they told him when he was seeing his therapist, because he was adopted and all, like fostered and all that, so he has to like go. And so when he was going, they said that it could be puberty, and a lot of boys will not get diagnosed with bipolar. Females would, but boys won't, due to puberty, because it's normal for boys to get aggressive when they're teenagers. Mm-hmm. So they will skip the bipolar diagnosis for it. The same reason why women show different traits for ADHD, so they don't get diagnosed as much as a boy would for being hyperactive. So it's like, this is also the issue, and my mom and I were talking about it, where the whole thing when it comes to like mental illnesses and things like that, mental disabilities, and why I do tell people, one, go see a provider, because it's still a science. Science is based off of how many...
Oh, it's the brain. Nobody understands
that. Like, we're still learning it, but how many... how much paperwork we're getting in, right? My story goes into the story, into the not a database, but like this scientist, because that's what she is. She is literally doing a science, and she's now seeing me case by case, seeing all these people having to work, and then they build these cases. They still do their conventions as doctors. They have to further education. Now they come together and they're like adding. And my mom was saying, all these people are getting diagnosed nowadays. I'm like, one, mental health is a huge thing now, and people advocate for you to go talk to someone. So more people are going to the doctor, which obviously means a big rise in diagnosis will naturally happen, because this many people used to go, now this many people are going. So this many more people are going to get diagnosed. Natural. Not only that, from just 20 years ago, the amount of learning that has occurred for mental disabilities, diseases, and diagnosis has skyrocketed, which also is going to make it. And this is where now I start getting a little aggravated with it, where it makes it easier to diagnose someone. And I think that's where the problem comes in, because now they're just able to label it because you hit like a 5-point scale. And they're like, oh, you show 5 traits. Boom, you have this diagnosis.
But the thing is, it's like, it's a double-edged sword, because what's better? Is it better that these people know that they have this small percentage of it? Or had they not been diagnosed, they would have lived a completely normal life.
This is where
prior to, just because they have a small threshold where they cross a line by like an inch.
So now this is where my personal experience will come in, and I can say that. And again, so first let me say what my buddy told me. And what he said was the nice part, because I was talking to him about the whole bipolar thing, because I was, like I said, I was frustrated. And he goes, well, it doesn't matter now because you've always had it. The difference is now that you can now understand why you're doing something, and you actually have a track to follow to fix it.
Yeah.
Before, and I'll say this for my ADHD stuff, is like, again, the reason why I hate that people want to claim it all nowadays is I was bullied, made fun of, teachers hated me. Like, I was not a good student because I was not paying attention, talking all the time, easily distracted, wanting to go do whatever I pleased. So school was very tough. Dealing with other people was very tough. I was known as the spaz, the crazy kid, right? And so dealing with that bit of isolation and also like not being able to do well in school, if I did get diagnosed in elementary school and beforehand,
the road a little easier.
Bro, grades would have been so much better. The social stuff. And I get it though, because then there's also the thing, like when I take my pills, I do think there's an issue when people are giving their kids these pills, because
we don't know if it chemically changes you forever or if it's a phase.
Well, honestly,
like,
that's actually one of the hopes. The hope is that it's supposed to, like, so for ADHD, what is it? Dopamine. Your dopamine levels are usually fucking dead until something interests you.
But here's the problem,
then you find it.
Because we used to have a kid who was like, I think he was like 8 or 9 years old at the gym. This was years ago. And the kid was just a normal boy, high energy, running around, like doing everything. And I'll never forget, he disappeared for like 2 months and came back. And the mom's like, oh yeah, he's on whatever the pills are for ADD now. Bro, the kid was a fucking zombie after that.
And see, that's
and here's the thing. Did he have a lot of energy? Yes. He seemed like a normal boy. Like me personally as a parent, I would take that first child over the zombie out, just not thrilled by anything, dull to the world. And it broke my heart, because I was like, bro, I get that the kid
just killed your son. Not killed him, but like you just.
But you could have, because what happens if 20 years from now he's like, I just don't feel anything anymore. I have no excitement in my life. And what happens if he does kill himself?
And this is where, well, that's what I was leading into I feel
like it's such a weird fine line where like, I don't want pills to be involved in my life or my family's life. But like, I understand that they do help at a certain point when it gets extreme. But what I'm saying is it has to be extreme. This is the line. It goes a mile past the line, not an inch past the line or a foot past the line that we're just like slamming with all these chemicals.
So that's where I think proper dosage comes in. And also, parents, and I'm not a parent, so I don't deal with hyperactive kids. I don't teach kids class. I don't deal with the hyperactive kids, right? I'm not the one in those shoes.
Yeah.
So I can't speak on the aspect of, hey, just toughen up and deal with the hyperactive kid. What I will say, I was the hyperactive kid.
Yeah.
And my mom, single mom, going to college, still working, handled it, right? I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying she had the best time, because again, I was a very troubling kid. Like, I caused a lot of chaos, but she did it. Now, what I will say is taking Adderall, I will never touch Ritalin. Ritalin, for me, turned me into a zombie. I didn't move from a chair, literally didn't move for 3.5 hours, just sat there. Mac had to move me. I thought 5 minutes passed, 3.5 hours was gone. Lost 3.5 hours of my day, had no clue what happened, just sat there. Adderall, much better, but this is where I'm saying is like, these parents and kids, they should see it. If your kid turned into a zombie, what I noticed with my Adderall, I take 40 milligrams a day. Most people if you go talk to someone on ADHD meds, they're usually taking like 5 to 10.
Yeah.
I take 40 a day. Right. And even then my doc thinks I should be on like 50 to 60, but it doesn't dull me.
Yeah.
It helps me focus. And that's where I think kids need to be able to be found, is like, they still are themselves.
I understand.
I can just
it's
focus.
A difference to introduce chemicals into your brain
as an adult
versus as a child, because we don't have information on the long-term impacts of giving a 10-year-old all these chemicals. But
now we do. They've been doing.
Do we know it? Because they still
We've been doing it since the.
This happened
80s.
with this kid like maybe 4 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, do we really understand? Because like, I personally, my belief, I would never tell a parent what to do, but I don't believe that kid should have been put on those meds.
Yeah.
I personally don't.
So, I mean, you
just seem like a normal.
You might also see him here in an activity setting. It's how is he doing in school? Because like, again, what I would say is like.
Yeah, but I also know how teachers are nowadays, and they're always looking for a quick cop out to be like, oh, they don't want to deal with kids being kids. Yeah. Nowadays, teachers want the easy way out for everything. They don't want to deal with kids being kids, and they're just like, oh, Mr. Smith, your son is so hyper and he just talks. He's just a regular boy who wants to talk to his friends at school, who he only gets to see at school.
I think the hard part on that is also teachers, and I'll speak from this on my mom's defense, is like teachers are also restricted a lot. So like there's only so much like she had one kid, troubled kid. This kid would try to like start fights with people and things like that. He would be out blasting people. Like if someone was talking, he'll try to talk over them. Major disruptions in the class. It's not fair to the other students. So there's that. When they would send him out to go to be in trouble, go to the principal's office. You have to go over there now. They would send him back like 30 minutes later, and he would just cause chaos again because there is no reprimand. And then when they call parents, the issue is not every parent's also involved because they see it as like, oh, well, the teacher should handle it.
Yeah.
But it's just like the teachers also, one, aren't allowed to just handle things. And two, it's like
it's the human element.
Discipline there.
It boils back to what we talked to before. People are the human element will always fuck things up because it's not precise.
Exactly.
And a good teacher will be like, oh, this is a normal boy who's just talking to his friends and he's a little bit more energetic, but it's not.
That's the nice part.
Then there's the lazy fucking teacher who's 23 years old, millennial, and is just like, Mr. Smith, your son is just talking a lot. I think he's ADD.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're a teacher. You're not a fucking doctor.
Well, they're actually not allowed to do that.
But they say shit like that.
Yeah,
they do.
So if they ever do, you can report them. They're not allowed to. So that's something my mom told me all the time. Because I was like, why don't you talk to the parents? Like if she suspects a kid, she can't do anything except send them over. I think it's like they have to go see their social workers at school, like the guidance counselors and stuff. So they have to go see them. The guidance counselor has to be able to talk with the kid. And then from there, that guidance counselor, I think, has to then talk to the parents to then recommend to talk to a doctor.
But you know how easy it is to have 3 lazy people in a school? A teacher who sends it to a lazy guidance counselor. I mean,
that's what sucks. It's
you got to do your own homework. Like I said, the human element fucks things up.
There's a lot of options out there to go for, but I will say, I don't know if it would have changed everything because obviously I didn't start until I was like, I think 26.
But we can't play the what if game.
And there's also that. But that's also what I will say.
You turned out to be a good human being and a good adult.
Just sucked at school. Yeah, that's the thing. I sucked at school, but school also isn't for everyone. So there's also that. It's just, and that's where I do accept it because that was the hardest part is like getting diagnosed so late. I did go into that what if, and I was like, dude, what would my life have been like? Would I have made it all the way through college? Would I have never joined the Marine Corps? Blah, blah, blah. But it's just like,
we can't do these.
Well, now I'm here and now I have it. So
ourselves.
But I am going back to school. So we're going to see how well that goes.
He'll have his degree by episode 94 next week.
That'll be crazy.